Thanks so much for having all of us here. Thanks for everything that Tiger Bay does to inform voters and get the vote out. There's no more important job than doing that, so sincerely thank you very much. My name is Charlie Gertis. I live on the west side of St. Petersburg on 29th Avenue and 64th Street in a neighborhood known as Holiday Park. I moved into my house when I was 6 years old when my parents moved here. I bought that same house in 1992. I've raised a family of 4. My beautiful wife of 30 years, Luann, is here with 2 of my sons. So we have been on the west side for a very, very long time. I had no plan or desire or intention to run for this race until our wonderful councilman from the west side, Herb Polson, announced in February or so that he was going to retire from his seat and not seek a second term. That caught me by surprise, and I was very, very deeply concerned about how the west side would be represented on the city council and what would happen when Herb's strong voice and love for the west side wasn't there anymore. So I decided to start thinking about it, talk to my family, talk to my partners, and everyone told me that, Charlie, you'd be the best person to go run for that job. The second primary reason I'm running is I have a deep sense that people in our community and actually throughout the state and across the United States have become disappointed, even disgusted with government, and they've dropped out. They've stopped voting, they've stopped participating, they've stopped being engaged in their government, and I want to change that as best as I can. I want to be a representative of the people that vote for me, to listen to them, to respect them, to have dialogue with them and get solutions and responses. Maybe not those that they'd always like to have, but I want them to leave that encounter knowing that they've been listened to, that somebody considered their thoughts and somebody tried to get a solution for them, and that's what I promised to do. I think that message resounded strongly in a primary in which I ran against 2 very professional and strong opponents, Mr. Kirstein and Josh Schulman, who's also here today, and I got 52% of the vote in that primary. I think that's a very strong message from the voters of the west side about who they'd like to have representing them, and that my message resounded with them. So I'd ask you to please take me up on my pledge to be the most responsive and accountable city council person, and that I will stand up for you strongly. Thank you very much. Yeah!
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bob Kirstein. My wife Susan and I have lived in District 1 for 47 years, where we've raised our children. I am running for City Council because I'm concerned about the future of our city. City Council is a full-time job, according to several city members. I will dedicate my full time to the office of City Council for the entire 4 years and represent both the neighborhood associations and the business community. The platform you have before you today, which was on your chairs, was published last spring when I announced, and has not changed since. For example, my position on freezing taxes, fees, and hiring until we have a fiscally responsible budget in place has not changed. The new City Council has a lot of work to do to bring our city into the future, including budget, crime, and joblessness. I have the experience and the knowledge to go to work for you on day 1. I do not need any on-the-job training. I have served the community in leading positions in 29 different organizations over the last 4 decades, including chair of the Tampa Bay Regional Planning Council, chair of the Agency on Bay Management, president of the Friends of Weeden Island. I also served as the first chair of the City Council Public Safety, Service, and Infrastructure Committee. I have the endorsement of the Police Benevolent Association and the support of the St. Petersburg Area Chamber of Commerce PAC. This makes me the best qualified person and prepared to lead for the residents of St. Petersburg. In addition, I have been endorsed by a large number of other elected officials and community leaders, including Democrats and Republicans. As Mayor Foster stated in his endorsement, Bob is not a politician, but a public servant who has actively served his community up to the present. Thank you.
Good afternoon, I'm Steve Cornell, I'm running in District 5, and let's start by talking about the race just a little bit, because rumors that I don't have an opponent are not exactly true. I want to make sure everybody knows this. My opponent dropped out due to family medical reasons, and so now on the ballot will be my name and a choice between me and a new election. So I do need folks to go and vote. And let me tell you why I feel that after less than half a term, less than 2 years in office, that I deserve to have a chance to have full 4 years in office. I told you the issues that, the first time I ran, I told you the issues that I feel are important to the city of St. Petersburg. And I think those issues are still there because they're big issues. What I'd like to say is, I told you I would address them, I've addressed them, and we've had some accomplishments on each one. And let me tell you a little bit about that, because I think that's what it's about, is can you be effective, can you get things done, and are you open to be listened to people? And I think I do both. The first one is public safety. I've worked on some very specific issues in my district and also citywide. We had a horrific shooting in my neighborhood in an apartment complex, and so as I did my research, I found out there were over 1,000 calls for service at that particular apartment complex over a 2-year period. We're working on a set of proposals and policies that will help make that safer. I told you that juvenile crime is a little bit different than other types of crime. I told you on juvenile crime we have to work to prevent juvenile crime, because if all we can do for our kids, and I know this sounds touchy-feely, but it's just true, so I'm going to keep saying it. If all we do for our kids is use our police to try to deter them, we're missing a lot of steps in between them. And one of the things that I did is we partnered with the Juvenile Welfare Board. The City of St. Petersburg found $500,000. The administration, Juvenile Welfare Board, found $500,000. And so last summer, we started employing more kids. Right now, currently, it's ongoing. We have certified teachers that are working in our recreation centers to do academic enrichment for our kids, tied into the school. That's a partnership that I put forward, that came out of my new business idea. So that, I told you I would do that, I did it. And it's not over yet, we're still working on it, but that's one thing that we got done. I told you I would work on economic development and bringing in jobs. One success there was I voted for the Valley Museum, for the funding for the Valley Museum. And let me tell you, that has nothing to do with art and everything to do with economic development. Because tourism is one of our #1 industries, and already the Valley Museum has doubled the number of visitors because of that new building, that new location. So we had 200,000 last year at the old building. We've already had 400,000, over 400,000 this year at the new building. That supports our tourism industry. That's the right thing to do. I told you education was important, and I'm working on starting a preschool component to the Mayor's Mentors and More program. And lastly, I'll just say, I talked about our environment. I told you I would stand up for curbside recycling, and we now have curbside recycling. Thank you. I'm Steve Cornell, and I hope you'll vote for me on November 8th.
I'm Bill Dudley. I am currently on City Council, and I'm seeking a second term. And let me start off by saying, first, I love this city. I love my job, and I love doing the things that I do. I'm a great listener, and I think one of the strongest attributes that I have is that my door is open. I get phone calls, emails, people in the street talk. I am a good listener. And it's important because when people talk to me and they express their views, when it comes time to do voting and so forth on our amendments and things that come before us, I use what they have told me, and I've done my research, and that's how I formulate my my vote. I have never, ever, ever voted for political reasons. I am not a politician, as you can tell by my beautiful voice. And this is 38 years of coaching and teaching has done this. I used to be a singer. You know, whether I'm voting for something tough, like the budget, or filling a pothole in my community, I feel very fulfilled. Because filling a pothole to the people who live in that neighborhood, that's important to them and in their way of life that they've come to enjoy in St. Petersburg. You'll see there is a difference between our opponent, my opponent. We always want choices, and so you have a choice. I have experience. As I said, I did 38 years as a public servant, 4 years on city council. I've always kept to the issues. I'm my own man. I don't, contrary to what, if you get somebody, when you vote for something, if it doesn't go the way you think it should, right away they accuse you of, well, he just was a yes man, he votes anyway. Well, that couldn't be further from the truth. I've had some very tough votes, and I shy away from nothing. I don't care whether I vote first or whether I vote last. You know, it rotates every month. It matters not to me. Because when I make my vote, I've already made up my mind based on what I just told you. The information that I have, the information I've got from people, and I can stand up here before you today and say that's one of my proudest accomplishments, that nobody owns me, and I'm here for you, and I will give you my cell number, and it's time for me to stop. Vote Bill Dudley, St. Petersburg City Council, District 3.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Brent Hatley. I'm a candidate for District 3 in St. Petersburg. And first, let me say, I applaud Mr. Dudley and his wife. His wife taught me in history at Northeast High School, where I graduated, and he taught me how to drive. One I'm good at, the other I'm not. I'm good at history.
Guarantees 30 days.
So it's not all Mr. Dudley's fault. I spent 4 years in Los Angeles, so that really did my driving record pretty good. But nonetheless, I didn't have the money to go to college like a lot of people, so I was fortunate enough to join the United States Marine Corps to serve this great country that has allowed me to make such a great living and live the life that I do. And the Marine Corps is the reason that I'm standing here today. Without it, who knows where I would have ended up. And I owe a lot to the United States Marine Corps. And that's where I learned about service, because anybody knows that's been in the military, you don't get paid a lot of money to be in the military. You sacrifice a lot. You sacrifice time with your family. And that's where I learned what service is about. I've got 18 years experience in private business. I've worked for very, very large corporations like Clear Channel, down to the small business, where I'm the second person in charge now. I also am the director of a charitable foundation that raises money for the families of fallen police officers. And unfortunately, we've had to have 5 recipients in the last 2 years that are on the St. Petersburg Police Department. Ladies and gentlemen, that's unacceptable. And I agree with everybody up here that public safety is important and we need to support our police officers. All of us, not just throwing money at every problem is not just it. Each and every one of you in the community, including myself, needs to be involved in supporting our police officers. Mr. Cornell pointed out, 1,000 calls for service, and then you have a murder and then people take notice. People need to take notice on the first call for service. And the way they do that is when the community bands together. And they band together through leadership and through good representation and through engagement and treating them with dignity and respect. One of my other main issues is jobs. Bringing jobs to St. Petersburg. We are the Sunshine State. Pull out your driver's license and look at it. It says the Sunshine State. New energy, solar energy, wind energy, and we even have a tide that comes in and comes out, and you can build turbines and harness that energy as well. That's where the new boom is going, ladies and gentlemen. That's just a fact. And we're falling woefully behind every minute that we don't move forward in this area. We have some good private businesses in St. Petersburg that recycle, that use solar energy. That's the direction that the city needs to go and to grow this economy in our city. Please, I ask for your vote on November 8th. Brett Hadley for St. Petersburg City Council District 3. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Gershom Faulkner and I'm running for City Council District 7. Just to tell you a little bit about myself, I too served in the United States Marine Corps. This wasn't planned for us to be back to back here. And we actually, I don't think we served at the same time. We did. Yeah. Okay, good deal. Nevertheless, I've been serving my community since that time frame. After serving the United States Marine Corps, 4 years active duty, serving in the Gulf War, came back home here to St. Petersburg, continuing to serve in the reserves for a total of 13 years. I went on to work with State Representative Frank Peterman Jr. as a legislative aide for 6 years, after which I went on to work with Congresswoman Kathy Castor as her outreach director. I'm running for City Council because I want to help bring jobs to District 7, not only District 7, but to the city as a whole. I want to help lower our crime rates, and I want to help address the issues facing our youth, especially in District 7 where we have the highest number of youth within the county. We have the lowest graduation rates, which this contributes to our high crime rate. These are some major issues. St. Petersburg Times mentioned just a couple of days ago in an article that some of the issues that the city is going to be faced with dealing with EMS, Tampa Bay Rays, is going to take consensus building. And that's what I bring to the table. Over the past years, I've had experience in that area. I've excelled in that area. The job positions that I've had require that specific ability, and that's what I bring to the table. That's what it's going to take to continue to move this city forward. I know that we all continue to want to work towards making this a seamless city. I know we have not given up hope in that area. I know I have not, and I'm committed to it. I know what it's going to take, and it's going to take a consensus builder to do that. My opponent has been in office for 4 years, and he has a record to run on. You have seen what he has done. He has shown the inability to be able to work with others. The 7-to-1 votes show that. He's proud of his 7-to-1 votes. That is nothing to be proud of. Because again, and I know the voters want more than just their voice to be heard. They want results. It's more to just standing up and saying, I voted for something, riding a coattail saying, I voted for that. You have to be able to bring some solutions to the table, be able to work not only with your colleagues on City Council, work with the mayor's office. You need to have a relationship there. You need to have a relationship with other elected officials, not here in St. Petersburg that represent us on state house level, state senate, our Congress. We need to have relationships with these individuals so we can move things forward. Again, we have some hot button items here that we need to address dealing with our EMS. I will not stand idly by while individuals die due to lack of response time. Thank you for this opportunity. Vote for Gershom Faulkner for District 7. Thank you.
Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, my strength, O Lord, my Redeemer. If you would you please join me in a moment of silence to remember the Dan Weldon family and lift them up in prayer. Also include our 3 fallen officers, Officer Jeffrey Yasbert, Officer Thomas Baker, and also Officer David Crawford. Thank you. Now I want to acknowledge the Jesus Christ who's at the head of my life, and also my beautiful wife. Stand up, baby, if you will. For 21 years. Stand up. Stand up. Today's her birthday, and I want to celebrate her and embarrass her at the same time. And I only got 3 minutes, so I got to do this quick. Well, look out, Melissa. Here I am with your singing telegram. Since I sing you, which is for her very happy birthday. bet that last thing you'd expect is a waiter dressed in black, sit there saying you wishes for a very happy birthday. Sneaky, I am so sneaky. Although I may have caught you off your guard, aren't that more fun than a card? Hope this brought you quite a lift. You deserve a special dinner. I must say you're really nifty. Have a happy birthday. Happy birthday, baby. Councilmember Wayne Newton, my opponent told you some really good stuff. He told you he's a really big advocate of unanimous votes. Well, let me tell you, in 2007, we had 27 unresolved drug-related murders. In 2007, we had 1,500 juveniles arrested. That's a record that comes from the Pinellas County Jail, per the city of St. Pete. In 2007, we had a unanimous council vote, taking $300,000 away from our youth. On that council was Renee Flowers, Ernest Williams, Jamie Bennett, Bill Foster, Jeff Danner, Herb Paulson, Leslie Coran, and also our chair, Mr. Kennedy. Now, when that happened, we were sitting on over 26 million in reserves. People tell you that the children are important, but I fought with them no votes to get $250,000 St. Pete money put back into summer jobs. That's what I did. It's important because we can't continue to lock up our youth. As far as the people that we work with, we have worked together to get you to Dolly. We have worked together to bring you the Job Corps Center, which is over 220 jobs. And just yesterday, we brought IRX to this city that's going to bring 283 jobs and 40 jobs immediately. I am Wayne Newton. I want to continue to represent you and fight for you and only you as I demonstrate. Thank you.